Kai Cenat. Kai Cenat has backed away from social media for the last couple of months. His net worth off of social media is $35 million. Okay? It's not about the money. He's saying he's having a mental breakdowns. He's having like problems with his mind. Right in our face, the most affluent, one of the most successful guys off of social media, young guy, got his fame, got his money from social media, saying I'm having to back away. I'm having to go retreat. He's having to go seek some guidance because his mental's not good. That's right in front of our face. These kids, all of our kids know this guy.
My eyes always focused. I give all my praise into
a generation in the crossfire. Are we preparing them or losing them? And what we're talking about is our youth today. We're talking about our youth today. Are we preparing them or are we losing them? This is a really heavy topic. A lot of people are talking about it. There's a whole lot that's going across social media because we're living in a different time today. We're living in a time today where kids have access to so much information. People call it the information era, where kids have access to just about anything that their imagination can connect to. And so with that, there's some challenges. There's some good, but then there's a lot of challenges. I would venture to say from the jump that there's a ton of challenges. Real quick, this is Coach Moon. Thank y'all so much for rocking with us. If you love this content or if this content has been a blessing to you, hit that subscribe button. We're pushing towards 500 subscribers and every single one matters right now. If you've been watching from the sideline, this is your moment to tap in. Join the squad and stay locked in. Thank you all so much. Now let's get into the conversation. I got my brothers on here, so go ahead and I'm gonna give y'all intros.
Bobby Trey, what's going on?
Frank Lee, I'm good. What's going on with y'all?
And doing good, man. Doing good. Hey, good to have you on, brother.
Glad
We're about to pull on all that wisdom today.
I'm ready for it. I'm ready to get right deep down, jump right in here.
Yes, sir.
So I got to give a little, just a little bit on the intro side. Pastor Frank, came on the scene, during a time when our youth group was suffering, was struggling a bit. We had some issues going on, in the building. I'm not going to get into those issues, but he came with some fresh energy, y'all. I'm telling you, some crazy fresh energy. The brother's been in ministry for a grip. He got a lot of experience, a lot of wisdom. God has used him in some huge ministries. He's been able to do a whole lot, for the kingdom when it comes down to youth. So it's a pleasure to have my brother on a call. He's made a huge impact thus far here in the Victory in the Philadelphia area at Victory Church in Audubon. He's been doing his thing, y'all. I'm talking like the community has definitely felt the effect of God's anointing on his brother's life. He's connected with the local high school, the local community in a way that, in my personal opinion, I'm gonna go ahead and say this. In my personal opinion, I don't think that too many youth pastors in this area has done some of the stuff that you've already done. And you've been here for what, like a little over a year now?
A year and 3 months.
About a year and 3 months. This brother has made a huge impact on the community. I'm talking people from the colleges coming over, the local colleges, high school. The high school rented a bus to get over to the church on Sunday, just because this brother's showing up. This brother's showing up to football games, showing up. He's just in the building. So I definitely appreciate my brother, and his heart for youth, his heart for making a difference. He's not going to sit still. His brother's like, look, we're going to get busy. I'm not going to wait for nobody, but the Lord. and I'm going to get busy. So, man, we see the impact. We appreciate the impact, man. The youth in the area, are definitely blessed to have you, my brother. Just want to say that. Hands down.
Yes, sir. One love, brother. One love.
Appreciate it.
Hey, what I love about 150 is that we just flow.
Yeah.
Good.
Not scripted. We just flow and let God just go ahead and be within. So I'm excited just to see and be a part of this, man. So I already know we got Pastor Lee on and God's about to use him mightily and I'm about to eat. So let's get it.
Let's get it.
All right, so let's jump. Go ahead, bro. I'm sorry.
I'm gonna say this really quick. I love this topic. My mind is going right now, so I'm gonna let you do it. Then I'm gonna jump right into it because I know that this topic is heavy, and it's in our face. And so we can't, it's not like you can't be blind to it. And so there is a goal, and it's our job to go. And if God has given us a vision, He's given us a plan, then He's trusting us to go do it. And so I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna stop right there, and then I'm gonna let you go. But then I got something I think that is gonna be good, right in our face, right here. That's really kind of been on social media the last couple of days, and I'll share it in a minute.
I love it. I love it. Yes, sir. All right. So before I get into these stats, I do want to say this because one of the things that we talk about at a surface level when it comes down to the 150 is that we're seeking breakthrough. So I want to be specific when I say breakthrough going forward. Any and everybody has an answer to a lot of the things we're going to talk about. Everybody has their opinion, and everybody has a right to their opinion. And nobody's opinion is like wrong.
Mhm.
It's one of the things that I notice when I'm out on social media, when I'm listening to things, I listen to things all the time, or having conversations, is a lot of the conversation is surface level. And when we get to some of the deeper systemic issues that's going on, this, things behind the curtain, then things get real general, and then we stop talking about, certain situations, when that's where the real battle is. Like the real trenches is behind the scenes. It's not where everybody feels comfortable. So I'm saying that to say, and then we're gonna jump right into, this is, I'm gonna push, y'all. I'm gonna push because like I want this to feel challenging, because it is. The reality is it is challenging. All right. So a couple stats here: youth and social media identity, pressure, and mental health risks. There's health risks that come from social media. Kids today have access to social media. So I'm going to read some of these stats here. Up to 95% of U.S. teens aged 13 to 17 use at least one social media platform or more than 1/3, and more than 1/3 say they use it almost consistently, which is just about all the time. Now, I know we can have conversations about us and how we use social media. Sometimes I find myself or catch myself scrolling too much. I'm like, wait a second, what am I doing? I've been on here for 30 minutes and I'm supposed to be doing something. So I know that youth who have a shorter, attention span, and, the whole idea of instant gratification is huge with them, right? Negative perception and impact. Let's go here. Nearly half, or 48% of teens, believe social media has, listen to this, mostly a negative impact on people their age. So, Brother Frank, I remember us having that church podcast, and some of the kids was talking about this, but they were talking about the negative impact that they think social media has on people their age. And I'm
Yeah.
listening to them like, what the heck? Like, y'all sound like grown-ups, right?
Right.
But
Mhm.
if they are saying that, and I'm gonna stop here before I go over any of these other stats, and I want you guys to jump in here. If the youth are saying that social media has an impact, a negative impact on them, then what should we be doing? Like, how should we approach social media when it comes down to our youth?
Yeah, I personally feel like if the kids are saying it, it's true. Okay, kids don't lie. Kids don't lie about stuff like that. And so it was. I remember that day when we had that podcast, and they're telling us about social media, and I was like, I think you and I looked at each other, and we were like, "What?"
Mhm.
I couldn't believe it. And the truth is that it is affecting them, and they know it. They know it when it comes down to social media, when it goes to their schools, and a lot of the fights that happen in schools actually start from social media. Someone says something on social media, and things happen. But I'm seeing that there's across the board, people who have influence. And I'm gonna just put it right here. Is what I was saying earlier. Kai Cenat. Kai Cenat has backed away from social media for the last couple of months. His net worth off of social media is $35 million. Okay. It's not about the money. He's saying he's having a mental breakdowns. He's having like problems with his mind. Right in our face, the most affluent, one of the most successful guys off of social media, young guy, got his fame, got his money from social media, saying, I'm having to back away. I'm having to go retreat. He's having to go seek some guidance because his mental's not good. That's right in front of our face. These kids, all of our kids know this guy.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
so it's affecting them right in front of us. it's not just him. It's you got a whole lot of other artists or people who are influential, young people who are saying, "I only come here to do what I need to do." Here's the thing about social media too. Um, these kids are making money off of it. This is the most. This is the time we've never seen as many millionaires, teenage millionaires, making money off of social media ever. So walking away from it is one thing.
Yeah.
It's messing up the mental, but they're making money off of it too. So what do we need to do? Mom and dad's gonna have to say, okay, it's not just about money. It's about it's about community. What's important. We got to set the goals, set some things ahead of them. What are the priorities in life? But some parents have never seen that $35 million in Kai Cenat's house. I promise you, mom and dad is not making that money. Never.
Yeah.
I don't know if his dad's in his life.
Mm.
But these kids are making money, millions of dollars.
Yeah.
There was a kid on Wall Street. His mom, he asked his mom, can he start a I forgot this kid name. Can I start an account on social media? He found something on social media, started doing stock market.
Mhm.
Mom and dad, don't know what's going on. He's in the room by himself.
Mm.
And he comes around the corner, and a couple months later, he's made millions of dollars.
Goodness.
Retired his mom and dad after seeing something on social media. That's what's happening on social media. So it's a hard thing to say, let's cut away from it.
I agree.
But it's also the hard thing to say, stay on it.
Yeah.
Because even the people who are making money from it are saying it's messed up my mental. They're saying it. It's not like, even like, again, the ones who are making millions, they say, I'm only here for this time right now, then I'm getting off. They're not here for long. You know what I'm saying? It's like Kai Cenat has even said, I am trying to stay off. He might stay off for even a longer time. You talking about guys who he gets on social media and may get millions of views just getting on just for like 15 minutes. Millions of views.
Yeah. I wonder how much of that has to do with the cultural approach to social media. And what I mean in particular is, like, I've heard stories because, like, when you're in the tech game and you study startups and things of that nature, you know that there's a lot of startups that are started by young people, like Facebook, college students and the whole nine. Of course, their culture. Okay, one of the things I read in one of the books, I believe it's I forget the name of the book. I'm gonna remember it and put it in the notes. But the book said that wealthy families learn more about wealth at the dinner table than poor families learn in their whole lifetime. And the reason why I'm bringing it up is because your approach to money, your approach to stability, your approach to being, like, financially stable, does affect what money's going to do to you. Now, $35 million is a whole lot of money. For me, I'm 48 years old right now. Like, that would change the outlook of my life. And most people say, look, I'm not going to change if I had that kind of money. But, like, at the end of the day, like, I think some change is going to happen, but how much of that is cultural though? Like, and we got to get into the spiritual element, but I want to start there though. I mean, what is the cultural, are there cultural implications in your all's opinion?
I believe is that our perception of looking at our youth not as the way we should. We should look at youth as future adults. And we are former youths, right? And so what happens is, it's not better to say, get off the internet. It's better to say, I need to equip my child.
I agree with that.
Right? It's like walking in the alley, in a dark alley, and somebody walks up on you.
Right.
Where are you going to get your confidence from? Are you going to be because you got hands and your feet, because you've been trained? Maybe you don't. Or you got a weapon, like a knife, a gun, pepper spray? You know how to use it? Maybe you don't. Maybe you have confidence in Jesus. Maybe you don't. But one thing's for sure is, if you're not equipped to handle that, then you don't need to be there. So our children are going places that they're not equipped. Like, it's not a problem to hear a song, hear somebody say something, what are they equipped to do to filter that thing out? Because I think what's happening in society is that youth are the most important thing that we really need to pour into, because they are the future of running the whole world.
Mm.
And if we allow our youth to be ill-equipped, somebody's going to equip them and control them.
So
Yeah.
on equipping, how do you equip them? Because the internet can be used for good. Like the example you gave, Pastor Frank, on a kid that went in the room and learned investments and he retired. That's good. That's not bad.
Great.
That's fire right there. And that's something that his parents didn't have to teach him. He learned on his own. But the majority of kids like don't have that type of drive or that type of innovation. Like the majority of kids, according to stats, are on something else. So how do you equip them to have, or could you? Is it possible to equip our kids with that mindset to use it as a tool?
I personally feel you have to be, to your point, Bobby. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like you have to be in their ears. You can't leave them. I don't mind is a devil's workshop, and you have to be able to pour into our young people. Period. And then I like what you say as far as in seeing them as young adults or young people who are adults, right? We have to train them. We got to still like train them in morals and principles and stuff like that in life. We have to. If you don't, then they're going to be left to their own devices. So although you make millions, I'm still going to teach you how to be able to treat people, how to love and respect people. All that stuff like that is important. If you don't teach them, then you understand that you leave it open to anyone and everyone to actually teach them to do it. It is proven that's what it is. You know, that's why they have these mental issues and stuff like that. Is because we leave them we leave them to their own devices instead of saying, okay, the dinner table is non-negotiable. We're gonna be at the dinner table. I need to know what's going on in your life. I need to talk to you. And doing that is the most important thing. Stopping and having a conversation. And one thing I like about you, Coach Moon, is that you invest your time into your kids. So you like the other day, you like, I gotta do this, I gotta do this, I gotta do this. And it was like 4 or 5 things for your kids. And then I got to do this too as well. And most parents, we have our whole list of things that we're doing, and we neglect the times that we need to be, and invest into our kids. So we need to actually, like parents, adults, you think of it back in the day, um, Miss Audrey up the street, she had permission to whoop me. She was in that neighborhood. She saw me and she would whoop me. And she would call my parents and say, "I'll whoop Frankie today." You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, "Dang, mom," like that lady hit me. Now I wasn't coming home with that. Everyone had each other's back. And Miss Audrey, not only did she whoop me, she actually poured into me as well. It takes the African proverb, it takes a village to raise a child. Listen, we are a village, and we need to look out for each other and invest our time and our effort into our kids, our young people. We can't let the devices actually, because now AI is telling them what to do, And what about the traditions of why, whatever granddad and grandma's passed along, that we could teach them about our family and what we stand for. Those things like that are very important. When my grandfather came out the room, we knew what was up.
Exactly.
We know what the leaves are stood for.
Mhm.
And my question is to us is that do we know, does your kids know what you stand for in your household? Do they know? Like this is the leeway. The leeway my sons, they are to, when they see a woman walking, they open the door. If they're carrying something, they go in and they pick up something and help whatever they're doing for a lady. This is what I teach my boys. They will know chivalry. I know some people in the world like, chivalry is nothing. No.
People like
In
forget all
my
that.
life, like in my sons, you might not like it, but in my sons, what I'm teaching my sons, they will.
That's
So
good.
if I walk past and I see my son don't open the door, I'm like, yeah, come back, run it back. You will do this. This is what you will do. Oh, I'm good. I'm independent. I know you are. Thank you, ma'am, for that. But my son is chivalrous. He's gonna open the door for you. That's what he does.
So let me ask this though, because that's good. And Bobby, I want you to jump in on this because I know you want to jump in. But let me ask this question, which is probably something you're probably gonna ask. Like, does does that push the younger generation away?
No. It's funny because I've only had a couple people say about my sons that they were I'm good. I don't need a man's help. But most people are like, man, that's oh my goodness. I
No,
appreciate that.
I mean, so I'm not talking about the people that receive it. I'm talking about the kids.
No. They
Okay.
want discipline.
Okay.
Discipline is what they learn. They learn if they're gonna go and make millions, they're disciplined at doing something. When they go to school, they gotta be disciplined to a routine.
Gotcha. You're right.
So they don't really push it away. And so we just gotta teach them on their level. And sometimes the militant way is not good for all kids, I will say. But having a conversation and respecting them and loving them, everyone receives love. And so even if you teach them through love, the love that they receive, they'll learn it. They don't push away. Instead, when you try to force your way on them, your way, and it's not love. It's not that way. See what I'm saying? So some kids, one of my kids, I can be hard with our kid. They good with it. My other kid, she start tearing up. I can't do that with her. And so I teach her. I talk to her in a different way, and she doesn't. This generation is that way. Some kids are like sensitive. Some kids are like, I could take it. So you just got to meet them where they're at, and they will follow. But no, listen. I mean, from Tampa, when I was in Tampa, I was I would say this is what I need. I need 40. I would say read. I would do chapters. I need chapters. Everybody, 40 kids. Chapters. You're gonna read one chapter, a chapter a day in the Bible, and take notes. Next time I see you next Wednesday, I need my notes. Is it a pushing them away? No. They came with them notes. They came with the notes. No one complained. When I did it, it was King James version. Now these days, I'm like, hey, y'all could do it in the version that you guys understand. But it didn't push them away. They did it. They rise to the occasion. This generation right here, they're capable of doing anything. You think about basketball, sports. I went to a wrestling event today. These kids are pushing themselves to that extent for athletes. This kids can take it. They can.
Bobby, what you got to say about it? No, that's
I
good.
mean, that's good because it's true. You said a lot. That's powerful. Like love, like that is like one of the biggest core that a lot of our youth are missing. I think a lot of adults, parents in particular, they could treat another child with love and their own child little differently. Why? Because they operating with fear. Oh man, I see that my child's about to do this. 5 years from now, they might be in jail, or they're not going to be successful because they messed up on this test, or they didn't do that or do this. But the same other child who had the same action that your child did, you will actually talk to them like a young adult. Give them the wisdom and they receive it. Then when you go back home and talk to your children, you're over there screaming at them. You're not reinforcing. You know why? Because we sometimes confuse intent with actions. Like we intend to have our child successful, but our child needs to see something that can actually be instilled in them so they can want to be. And I love his point. Like you can have multiple children. Guess what? You may have multiple different styles. Like I got my wake up call from my own children. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm sorry. I was a one-way street. Like this is what I expect, and everybody's gonna get it. There ain't no favoritism over here, right? What I what I learned was one child needs more structure, one child needs more patience and grace by me, another child needs more. Like even though I have different styles, the standard did not change.
And it doesn't change.
So you can keep the standard. Let's give the example of what Pastor Lee does with his children. Here's the standard: read a chapter a day, notes. I can guarantee you, he has different people bringing different size notes.
For sure. Yeah.
Being able to articulate, he could tell the difference somebody did it the same day, right?
Yeah.
And so what he probably has done is, all right, I know this child is gonna do it. This child may not. I may need to now say extra things here. I may need to say things or do things to challenge this one because the result of what I'm looking for is not just the notes. it's not just the notes.
Mhm.
I'm looking for a change and a shift.
Mhm.
I think a lot of times what we do is when we talk about our own children, and let's say we don't look for the process. We want the now.
Mhm.
Like I want my child to get 100% on everything now.
Right, right.
I
Mhm.
want to be the best athlete now.
Yeah.
That
Mm.
it doesn't work that way. If we actually slow down a little bit and enjoy the process with them, then we can start talking to them the way we talk to all the other children.
Well, see, look, I'm with you 1,000%, 1,000%. When you say process, I think we all understand on this call what that looks like because we're old enough to have gone through as many processes or enough processes to challenge us to become better. To say process and then kid in the same sentence, it just don't work. So let's be okay. I'm agreeing with what you all are saying, especially with the diversity piece. It's like you deal with them based off of their personality and the whole. Now, I think that's wisdom. Like you got to have balance, but the principle doesn't change. Like you keep the principle the same. But okay, like it's hard. It just got to be real. It's hard, especially when you see numbers. And I definitely want to get back on the rails of the social media piece. But when you see numbers that say that, okay, like in fact, I just want to bring this one number up. It says, okay, children and adolescents who spend more than 3 hours per day on social media are twice as likely to experience mental health problems.
They do.
Okay, including symptoms of depression and anxiety. Right. So okay, 3 hours to me on social, no, 3 hours to the average family on social media. Y'all can let me know what y'all see. But 3 hours of social media for a kid is nothing. That's like too little. Right.
Mhm. Mhm.
Kids are always like this. You go to church, they like this. You see them in school, they like this.
In the
At
wrong.
home, they like this.
Yeah.
They're always in their phones.
Mhm.
And so you know that says 3 hours. Let's just bump it up to 8. If a kid is on his phone 8 hours and these numbers don't lie, it's okay, you got all these kids in depression. It can't be just as easy as saying, all right, we're gonna lay the law down and this is what it's gonna be. I do believe that the onus is on parents, but I can guarantee you if we get other parents on this call
Yeah.
and we start talking about this conversation, you're gonna get issues. And in fact, audience comment, like, what issues do you see? Do you have? How hard? Because now I'm ex-military, so it's easier for me to say, hey, give me your phone. I'm tech too. You see tech game on the shirt, right?
Mhm.
I got an app on my phone where their phones are scheduled to go off at a certain time. I can see how many hours they got on social media, all of it, and turn it off, right? And I'm gonna share some of that, as soon as we get a sponsorship.
Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah. Sponsor them now. I take one too.
You know what I'm saying? But look, but the reality is, like, when I tell my daughter, I mean, she came to me the other day, and this is real talk. Like, she came to me the other day, and they have to have, in the school that they go to, it's a very academically challenging school. It's very rigorous. It's a classical education, not like the public schools. They go to private school, and it's hard. I ain't gonna front. It's hard. I'm looking at their homework like, I don't understand that, right? It's hard. But they have to have a 70 or above in every single class. That's the rule, right? It used to be in public school, you got to have an 80 or above. Now 70 or above. We had to drop it 10% because it's so hard. And so she has one class. All other classes, she got 80s and 90s. One class that she got like a 64, 65. For this marking period, I've been kind of lenient. So every now and then I'll unlock it because she has something going on. And then I'll lock it, right? And so, but the grade only went up a couple points. And so around the last 2 weeks of the semester, I said, all right, it's going to be locked. And I told her and all of them that this is what it's going to be. I'm not giving any more exceptions. And so she came back to me the other day like, Dad, like, it's almost the end of the semester. Can you please give me a break? I'm going to make sure this up next semester and the whole 9. And I said, no. I said, nope. She goes downstairs and because her face gets all, and she's my girl. Girls change dads. That's what it is. And so she goes downstairs and I'm chilling and I'm doing my work on my computer. Then she comes back up and she says, but Dad, I just got to say one more. And so she's trying to plead with me and I ain't going to front. It was pulling on my heartstrings a little bit. I ain't going to lie. Now I stood to my gun. I stood to my, stand. I said, nope. I'm not gonna do it. And I explained to her why. And when she went out, sad, it was still pulling my heart, but I stood on it. So to your point, Bobby, I agree with you that, those principles, you gotta have them. The principles don't change. But it was, what I'm trying to point out, it was still a little difficult because of the relationship that I want to build with her, where it's open and it's honest. I don't want her to hide anything from me. And so I know parents out there are thinking about those challenges every day. See, because again, you're talking all different types of personalities, as you all mentioned.
Mhm.
So what do you say to the parent that has, that doesn't have the same household that you have or the same kids that you have, but some of the same problems, but a lot of different problems too? What do you say to that parent?
Stick to your guns.
Okay.
Yeah, on everything. You have to, because if you don't, if once a kid knows that they can get you, they're going to get you every single time.
Mm.
So you have to stick to your guns. I tell you, in my household, my daughter comes to me like, "Daddy," and I'm like, "Yeah, sure." My wife's like, "Yeah, right." Like, "You ain't doing that," and I'm like, "Yeah, don't come back to me asking no more." But but for real, that's we have to stick to our guns. There's no like, like, yo, we're not playing against each other, and we do it for their safety and everything like that too.
Yeah.
Because
Oh, come on.
later on she'll realize there's a story this pastor told me back in the day. He said that him and his best friend were supposed to go. This is a crazy story. I'm gonna just make it real quick. He said that he was supposed to go to his friend's house, his best friend's house. And they were party boys. They used to go out and do stuff. And they used to spend the night at each other's house all the time. And he went to ask his dad. He said, "Dad," he said, "I want to go to such and such house." And his dad told him that day, no. He said, "Man, come on, Dad. Are you serious? You playing around?" Dad said, "Nope, today is not the day. I just don't feel right that you should do it." Dad, he come back, he's mad, upset, just trying to argue with his dad. Dad said no. That night, his friend, first time ever drinking, he drank and actually died. You have to stick to your guns because this could be a life or death situation. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying it has to be drastic like that. What I am saying is that it is mentally and life wise good to have discipline and structure and balance. Because when they get into the real world, guess what? They're gonna have those boundaries and stuff like that too.
Good.
That's the
That's
truth.
good.
They will have the boundaries. Get to a job in sports or whatever, they have them. And so when a no means no, a no means no, and you have to set the boundaries because it's going to help them out in the future. You have to you can't negotiate. If you say you're going to do it, you got to do it. If you say no, it means no. You say
Mhm.
yes, it means yes. But you're going to have to show up.
Good.
And
Yeah.
I think too, once you like Pastor Lee said, once you open that door that you are not gonna stick to the standard, now you're gonna allow room for disorder in your house.
Mm. Mm.
They not gonna respect you the same.
Heavy point.
So it's all kinds of drama. So now let's I got a question now. What about that parent who allowed that already and they're dealing with it? Like
Yeah.
they allowed it. So
Yeah.
now we're not talking about you got to be stern. There's a whole lot more that's in that house. And that single mom is not able to handle her three sons because she allowed the drama. What does she do? Like I had the call. I had that call.
Mhm.
And it's amazing. I actually talked to one of the child, and you would never know the drama he's causing her. He's the best kid you would ever want to talk to.
Mm.
Wow.
But when the phone call is over, if she actually recorded any of those conversations, it's totally opposite than what I experienced.
Mm.
So
Mm.
what does that single mom do at that point? Or even single dad? Like what does that parent do?
You got to go back to the drawing board. I personally feel like there's a student. If they ever see this, they will know exactly who I'm talking about. That boy is something else. Now he was my favorite student. My homie was something else. One time he was caught in my office eating Doritos, watching YouTube while we having church. He broke into my office. I was like, what are you doing in my office, bro? But mom and dad had let him do so much that he did not respect them. And so when I came in, and I was actually hard on him. He respect me, and now he's in the military, which I'm really proud of him. But look how he went from a loose household to now going to the military, and I honestly didn't know if he was gonna make it. But he graduated like a few weeks ago, and he's in the military right now. He's in the army. I'm really proud of him. Very, very intelligent guy too, by the way. But I think that person, you're gonna have to get back on being stern, and you might need to get a third party to come in to actually be the one that come help set the standards and the boundaries. This is what we're going to do. If you can't get it back, which is hard to get back, I'm not saying it's not possible. Third party comes in. Third
I
party.
agree. I agree. I'll let you jump in, Moon, because the word of God actually agrees. It's totally what you said. The
Mhm.
multitude of wise counsel.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
think a lot of times we forget that.
Mhm.
Like you're not in the island by yourself, mom,
Yeah,
Exactly.
dad.
it's good.
Exactly.
Like get around others and get that counselship. Maybe you need to go by yourself first.
Say that.
That so you can be equipped to then bring in somebody else.
That's good.
But seek that wise counsel, and then that will be your foundation to lead towards success of your future adult,
Mhm.
of your future adult.
Now, and so, all right, let me say, like, I agree with what you both are saying. I agree 100%. Um, but I also believe that, okay, to kind of throw another complexity in here, and I'm gonna give an example of what I'm talking about. But okay, to you all's point on diversity, there's different kids, different types of personalities, and the whole nine. The same prescription that a doctor gives to someone with a cold may be totally different than it gives for somebody who got a broken foot. And the reason why I'm bringing it up is because there are some parents that I agree with the third party piece, and I think that's the counsel piece. That's a huge thing there. But there are some kids that's like, yo, like I had a cousin. He know who he is. I'm not gonna say his name. I'm not gonna put him on blast like that. I love my man, but I mean, he's a little older than me, and I remember when we were kids. Man, his mom used to beat the brakes off of him. I'm talking the break. I mean, it was bad. But I remember looking at him. Me and my brother and I was just looking at him like, "Yo, what is wrong with you, man?" Hey, man, growing up in a black home, like when you get a spanking, it's real. It ain't even called a spanking. You can get whooped.
Well,
That's what it is, right? His brother used to get lit up, and he used to go right back to the same thing over and over and over and over again. And so this is where we get now deeper into the spiritual element. I am going to go over a couple more stats, but before I do that, though, you know what? Let's just open this up. Now you got those deeper spiritual, because that's a deeper spiritual issue, right? On both sides, parent and the kid. I've had my experience with being too hard on my kids, and I remember feeling the result of that, like, man, and having conversations with myself on the back end, like, man, I was too hard. And there's sometimes when I would go back to them and apologize, yo, man, my bad. Whether it was my daughter or my son, and then talk to them and say, you know what, I was wrong because of this, that, and the other. And then that became the thing that became more powerful than even the punishment or the consequence.
mhm.
And so, like, the reason why I'm bringing up like this is because, like, the one size fits all thing when it comes down to being hard on them or just sticking to your guns doesn't always work, especially in those exceptional, uh, you know, uh. So that being said, now I do think we should open it up to more of a spiritual well, I think it's all spiritual conversation, but real deeper into, like, what do you do with what do you tell a parent that has those type of complexities where my personal opinion is, if you too hard, if you stick to your guns and that's all you do, that's the only part of your equation, it's a losing equation. There has to be something, and you all talked about the other things. Let's go into those other things okay, where does God fit into the equation?
You wanna go by first? You want me to go? Go? Okay. I'm gonna say this. We often talk about the no that we say, we don't celebrate the good that we see.
That's good.
Yes, and so sometimes it needs to be yes, it needs to be some type of incentive. Like my grandfather was harder than us, but we knew on Saturday morning all the boys would get in the back of that truck and go to Hardee's. Okay, we knew we were gonna watch WrestleMania with him on Mondays and Thursday. We knew that, okay? But there was some good that went in with the discipline as well. And so if you're always gonna be no, 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 they will rebel. Period. We all will. Every time you're gonna know that rebellion is coming sooner or later, right? And so you don't want to be you stick to the guns, but there also is a grace that comes with it.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
spiritual side of it. There's a grace that comes with everyone. Now, I will tell you, all of us had a cousin that used to get them whoopings, and that brother had a hard head. You know what I'm saying? And honestly, I look back at it, and sometimes I'm like, was the whooping the right thing? Because my grandfather come in that room, I was like, I'm good. You whoop me one time, the next time we won't have this. He was like, line me up. He was like, I'm good. Didn't work for him. Didn't work for him. And I think that sometimes parents have to realize, like, again, different strokes for different folks. Whooping ain't working for him. We need to sit down and talk to this guy. We got to ration up. We got to figure out what's in his head. And I always tell moms, when moms come to me, I said, moms have the unique thing, and fathers have a unique thing where they know their child. They know how they talk. They know how to communicate with that child. Meet them there. Like, if it's not working, why do we have to fight all the time? Why is it rough all the time? It's because whatever we're doing is wrong. So can we course correct in the middle of what's going on? Now, spiritual disciplines, I'm gonna tell you right now, I feel it's in my spirit. They said in my shandana back in the day. The old people. Let me tell you something. Well, we gotta get back to prayer.
Mm.
I remember getting up with some oil on my head. I remember getting up when my grandmother used to pray at the table. I remember she would call all of her grandkids' names out. Everyone. She didn't miss a time. She didn't miss a time. And I think that when it comes down to the spiritual side of things, I think the discipline of the word of God is very important. But I think for real, that prayer life in the household, do your kids hear you pray?
Mm.
Does your wife hear you pray?
Mm.
Or did they even see you open your Bible up and say, what do y'all feel like this means? And
Mm.
really just quiet. Don't say nothing. Like, what do you feel like that means? What does that really mean to you? You think that, let's break it down. I had a friend who actually opened up the Bible. He says, spare not the rod. What does that mean to you?
Mm.
It was nephew. It was his nephew. And he broke it, and his nephew said, well, so why? Because foolishness is inside of you. See that? So if I don't do it, I can't get this foolishness out of you. And we don't allow fools in my house. I'm like, oh, that was very interesting. At least I had the conversation. I think the spiritual side of things, to me, needs to be, we need to get back to some of the basic things, not trying to be over spiritual. I'm not saying, unless the Lord built you that way, because sometimes people need a lot of prayer. Like that cousin of yours, his mom made to put an oil on his head when he sleep,
My man get the whole bottle.
Look, get him.
Hey, put
Get
this
him,
brother in the tub. Like
get him, Jesus.
Crisco,
Listen,
olive oil.
that way, all of it. Listen, but those spiritual things, you can't get away from 'em. I don't care what anyone says. Again, going back to Kai Cenat, my homie's having preachers and pastors come to his live to preach the gospel and to pray because it's important. His mom said it, but I think that in the household, we should be the ones who are actually setting the tone in our household with prayer, with fasting, with Bible reading. And we should, and when I say fast, I call my whole household and say, we all fasted.
That's good.
Daddy, we just bought ice cream. It'll be done. It'll be here when we get here, when we get done. We're going to fast in this household. We have to, because I just believe that sometimes, for real, if we're talking spiritual, there is a real devil out there who's looking to steal, kill, and destroy. But not in my household. So I have to get them to have to understand that the spiritual life is the same. It's with everything. It's real. And so I need you to give me spiritual discipline, just like anything else discipline, academics or sports or whatever. I need you to be spiritual discipline. I need you to actually know God for yourself, and pray and all that stuff like that. So that's my take on it. I talked a lot right here, but
That's good. That's real good. So spiritual discipline and all that is one of the best things ever. And you know what we need to add in? Covering.
yes,
Like
yeah,
we need to cover our children
yeah,
and have peace about it. So they gonna go through their own testimony
say,
themselves.
yeah, say that.
Life is not over because they are blind.
Good. That's good.
You as an adult, as a Christian saint parent, has a responsibility to cover. And once you cover, guess what? It doesn't matter what you see or hear. You already know what the end's gonna be.
Say
So
that.
when you say cover, like, can you that's fire, but can you go into what you mean when you say cover?
So what I mean by cover is you get like Brother Lee was saying, you get in a time where you find a word in the Bible, right? My children is covered. My children is more than the head and not the tail. You
Mm-hmm.
said, Lord, that you will never ever forsake them. Like you find a scripture and you and God now are creating an agreement because he will agree with the word that you present.
Mm-hmm.
So now once you cover, they're good. Real scenario. I am the youth that we're talking about today.
Mm.
I'm about to go through this whole thing. I am that youth.
It's good.
I'm a high school dropout, got a GED.
Mm.
I was ruly, bad. You know what? The only person that I really respected in life was my dad.
Mm.
He put the fear in me.
Mm.
Mom, she loved me so much. I took advantage of scenarios. Dad put the fear in me, so I was more afraid of my dad than my mom.
Mm.
School, I didn't like it. I cared about girls and sports.
Mm.
I go home, get on Jeopardy, read the Encyclopedia Britannica, but not do any schoolwork, homework. So my mental did not fit the society norm. But
Mm.
guess who I had in my life? I had a covering mother.
Say that.
All I remember when I was ruling is you will be brought before a rich and mighty man.
Mm.
Every time she talked to me, no matter what she heard or seen, she would always speak a word over me. For all my life, she'll call me up. Now I go to the military. Boom. She called me up, say the same thing. When I finally gave my life to God, guess who I called?
Her.
That woman who covered me.
Wow,
Say
okay.
that.
So now I had a foundation to say, you know what? Covering works. Think about it. High school dropout, GED, had a full ride scholarship to West Point,
Mm.
Georgia Tech,
Mm.
made millions, but I'm that child.
Mm.
So breathe,
That's good.
breathe. It's not over.
Mm-hmm.
You now have an opportunity today to say, I'm going to take charge.
Show
Devil,
up.
you would not have my children. You would not have my child. I
Yes.
know what the word said. Now
Yeah.
place that word over their life and go have a water, a tea, a Coke, and a smile.
Say that. Yeah. Yes.
And that's how you win.
I'm trying to tell you. Listen, that's the reason why none of my cousins and none of us locked up. None of us. I truly believe it. I heard my grandma say, "Don't let none of my grandkids be locked up. Don't let Derek. Don't let Dominique." I mean, she went down the line. I was like, she didn't want to be locked up. But man, I agree. The covering is so important. That's the oil on the head. This is my one thing I hate about sometimes in the churches we kind of get away from we don't want to be embarrassing or we don't want anybody to be like no one's gonna be embarrassed by you doing that. Listen, in my household it's my job to cover my kids and I cover my kids and I don't care if you like it or not, my kids gonna be covered. And I think that a covering part is so important. I'm tell you, it's crazy. I don't know if y'all listen to Kendrick Lamar says it in his song. He said no one's praying for him. My grandmother died. He's talking about covering. He's talking about covering, being covered. So even the secular realm, we see that people get covered, and they know the importance of being covered as well. So I think it's you hit that on the head though. Hey man, that's good. I didn't know your story like that though.
Yeah, brother. Like, man, like whoo, like I can start crying thinking about this journey, man. Like, because when I see the youth, I see me. And then when I see the parent, I see me.
Mhm.
I got both sides.
Oh
I
my,
got a mini me in my life. I remember when my mini me, my son, I call my mom every day. I say, "Ma, forgive me, forgive
Yeah.
me,
Yeah.
forgive me. I understand now. I understand."
Uh-huh.
Right?
Uh-huh.
So covering, peace, peace. And it's not religious. It's real. It works. It's true.
Yeah.
There's not one word in the Bible that will ever return void.
That's right. That's what he said.
Never.
Yeah.
And once you get that down, let's say you're not strong enough though with that word.
Mm.
Find somebody who is.
Say that. Mhm.
Once somebody can touch you can touch and agree with them, game over.
Game over.
Now you're Johnny, John, Sue, Tyrone, Lamont, whoever your child name is, you already know they're in good hands.
Yeah.
Because you are not the only parent.
Mm.
God is also. He is their father like he is yours.
Say that.
So this is when we now take back and we start taking charge. Like, you know what? I'm not stressing no more.
Mhm.
I can't stress no more. If I stress, then I'm telling God he's a liar.
See, and he not a liar.
He ain't a liar.
Not a liar.
And so this is the joy I get with like, man, like the last one we talked about, opportunity.
Mhm.
Like I got children, so guess what? Opportunity. And if
Right.
you got a spouse, opportunity.
Exactly. Exactly.
Right? So
Yeah.
so if our perspective change, then guess what? We can start empowering and equipping our children
Mhm.
the right way.
Right.
I have 4. All of mine have been covered.
Mhm.
So I'm in the mindset of no matter what I see or hear, great things, not so great things, the end is already written. They are covered and very successful. And they're gonna get their own testimony,
Mhm.
right? So so this conversation we're having, man, like these youth, if you're a youth and you're watching this, like you are not it. You are everything God created you to be. You
Hey.
are not the it that social media said you are.
Yeah, that's right.
So if you get out of that social it and get into the kingdom it, you will by far succeed anything that you can think of.
Mhm.
Don't try to follow the parent or the adult that you know is doing wrong.
Mhm.
Follow the word of God,
Mhm.
because if you start looking at people who go to church, it may deceive you thinking, oh, they go to church, but I also know so I don't need to waste my time going to church. Nah, they may need you to
Mm.
get some word to pour into them.
Mm.
Like Jesus, I remember when Jesus was in the church in the temple, and these guys who got all the titles, they're like, yo, who is the greatest of them all? And
Right.
Jesus looked around, he said, you know what, let me get that child right there.
Yeah.
Pulled the child over and said, this one right here.
Mm. Mhm.
So if you are a child watching this podcast right now, guess what? You are what Jesus said, the greatest of them all. Now you just need to get equipped so you can walk in.
Say that. And young people, really quick, let me say this. Young people, pay attention to what he said. If you got to go back to turn and go back, go listen to it again. Every parent who's watching, same thing. Go back and watch that all over again. Put that on replay. You need to be covered, but also knowing that you are it. You are everything that God's called you to be. There's something that God has called you to actually do. And so I'm not gonna try to repeat what you just said, but listen to Brother Bobby. I'm trying to tell you right now. I'm trying to tell you.
I was listening on the phone. I heard you preaching, my brother. I was like, let's go, trying to get this internet connection though. So, oh, that's fire. That's fire, fellas. I'm
Wa-
sorry, but
Watch this, though. Watch this, fella. Watch before Brother Moon takes over. We as a society need to wake up. And this
Yeah.
is what we need to wake up with. Let's imagine this. Let's paint this scenario. You woke up and you actually saw God now. You see the power, the glory, the essence, the love. And you still decide to do what? Disobey him.
Mm.
How's that even possible?
Mm.
Guess what? The Bible says the devil took 1/3 of them, of the angels. We talking people, angels who see God, know his authority, know that he is ultimate, and they still were deceived.
Mm.
So we should not be ignorant thinking that our children or even our siblings or other fellow adults can't be deceived by the little. When the angels were deceived, thinking they can take over the greatest of them all.
Mm.
So if we wake up and be like, you know what, deception is real, and the only way to beat deception, we got to get equipped.
Mm-hmm.
We got to know our equipment.
Mm.
Like that word of God is the foundation to it all.
Say that.
Like without the word, you cannot win this war.
No.
All you're going to try to do is try to battle against a social media fame or what society tells you what the battle is, money,
Mm-hmm.
power.
Mm-hmm.
Nah, all of that stuff, all of that stuff goes down the drain.
Mm.
We need to start getting equipped with the word of God so we can start standing strong. And it's not just for you. The Bible says we are the salt. And if we lose the flavor, I mean, nobody can be helped. So we are called to stay that salt and flavor this world. All it takes is one person. All it takes is one to make a change. And maybe that one is you.
Say that.
That's good. That's good. That's good. So it sounds like, you know, we would all say that when it comes down to social media, that we need to do a better job as parents when it comes down to how we allow our kids to manage or to get on social media. Like we shouldn't, it shouldn't just be you do your own thing. We should have restrictions in place. We should stick to our guns. We should have a connectivity with them so we know what, you know, is going on with them the whole nine. Is there anything that, you know, else that you guys want to say about social media before we get into the next piece here? Because I definitely want to get into the next piece because I got a lot to say about it. I think we all do. The music.
Well, I think social media, we gotta control it, but also, what I'm seeing is a trend right now is that parents are getting involved with their kids, and so that's the control of it. They're just doing the whole family page. We're gonna do this as together, and we're gonna show life. And it's in the media age right now because so much is AI. People want to see real stuff anyway, and so if you show up real, that's what people want. They want real. I think there needs to be boundaries, but I think that just an idea that some people might take is maybe doing it together. But I think the foundations and the principles and the kingdom mindset, that stuff needs to be taught by you. As a parent, myself, you know, all of us, we have to do a real good job showing up, talking about it, making it a part of life. This is not to be weird or anything like that, but you know, your friends come over, your friends come over. This is a Christian household. We pray. Bow your head. I'm not a Christian. I ain't ask you all that. When you in my, you pray. You know how many kids really do pray? The football team, one of the things that I love about it, you know, it's a couple kids who like, "Man, I don't pray, man. I'm this, I'm that." All right, cool. Bow your head and dear Jesus, and just go ahead and pray.
Hey, to your point, my father, he's the one that sent me to the military,
Mm,
right? I was mad as you know what, like
mm,
mad. But guess what? When I graduated, I thanked him like no other.
yeah, yeah.
So sometimes, like you're saying, look, like you just said, look, this is a Christian household. We're gonna pray.
Mhm,
The impact that you have set in that household, man. When these young adults become adults, you're gonna have them come back and tell that story.
mhm.
Like I
Yeah,
love my father for sending me back, but I ain't love him when he told me to do it.
exactly.
So
No.
our children may not love when we having to do something right now, but when they become mature later, they're gonna be like, you know what? I'm glad you did. I'm
Yeah,
glad you did.
they will.
I do want to get my final thoughts on the social media piece before I'm like move into the music. So I mean, I got the tech gang shirt on for a reason because I've been in tech for a minute, and I know I'm very savvy with tech. And so at some point, I am going to give some specific technology that you can use to help you because we live in a tech age. If you know how to use tech to create boundaries, then it just makes things so much easier. I'll tell you, like I'll be on my way to the grocery store sometimes, and I'll think like, wait, oh, you know, somebody's phone need to be off. I just press a button, phone is off. Or I set a schedule where, oh, you've been on social media for this long? Let me bump your hours down a little bit. So I'm going to mention some tech at some point, but I'm not going to do that now. But yeah, investigate. Use tech to help you when it comes down to that. And then I'll steal from what you guys said a little earlier as far as counsel and getting help, getting third parties to get involved, especially for single parents, but also for parents that are married. I'm married, and I mean, there's certain parents that I ask questions to, or there's certain things that I get, I glean from other people that helps me and my wife when it comes down to raising kids. You don't know it, like nobody's the whole book on truth. Like we all gonna learn, we all gonna grow.
Yeah.
So definitely reach out to people and ask. Right? Don't be so prideful that you're like, nah, my kids. No, reach out to people, ask for help. Search researches, different, ways of doing things, you know what I mean? And so that's what I would say when it comes down to social media, but also like pay attention to your kids. Last thing I say about it, pay attention to your kids, like get involved. And you guys said this a little early, but I want to emphasize it. Get involved, know what's going on. Like I just heard somebody say something on another podcast, like, oh yeah, well, I knew the passwords for my kids' phones and stuff like that's not good enough. You got to know what apps they're on. You got to know the dangers of these apps because it's different than when we were coming up. When we were coming up, we didn't have this. So the danger was like, make sure you look both ways when you cross the street, or make sure you know who's outside around you in your environment. You got to be street smart with certain things, but it was physical. It was right there. All of that now and more, just multiply every bad thing that's happened in your environment when you were a kid is all now coming through a phone. Every single bit of it. There's tons of stories of kids walking off and going and meeting a stranger somewhere and never been seen again. There's tons of stories where kids have committed suicide. They killed themselves because of this little technical technique of bribery, or what is it called? I forget what the name of it is, but it's almost like, okay, they take what is it? They get a kid to send them naked pictures of themselves, or I forget what it's called, and then they blackmail them and say, if you don't give me a certain amount of money or you don't do this, I'm gonna expose you. And there's been multiple kids, a lot of kids that have died, that's killed themselves because of stuff like that.
That's Roblox. Roblox, by the way. I say
Yes.
it because it's lawsuits against Roblox because of that.
Wow.
Lawsuits. People are getting millions and millions of dollars, but there's a lot of kids who lost their life because there's people with predators, actual predators that are on those apps that they know what they're doing. If you even go to YouTube, and we'll talk with love, don't cancel anybody because that's at YouTube, but YouTube kids, legit, they went on there and they were getting people for just making kid accounts and act like they were kids, and they're saying some crazy stuff to kids. So yes, you need to know these apps, like on everything. You need to know what they're listening to. I sat down one time and I was watching something on YouTube Kids with my son, my youngest son, and I was like, the little girl was doing something she wasn't supposed to be doing. I was like, I cannot believe what I'm hearing right now. My son knew nothing about it. He's like 5 years old. He doesn't know what's going on. I was like, this is a sexual act on this right here. I was like, oh no, we gotta stop this. So it made us pay attention more because this guy had made this account and made a cartoon, and the content on the cartoon was perverted. It was not good. And I mean, it was bad. It was like, we were both like, what? So yes, know the apps. I'm sorry to cut you off, but
No,
yes.
you good. That's a perfect example of what I'm talking about. At best, get a content filter. If you're not really techy, this, that, and the other, okay, get a content filter. So that and put the basic settings on. We'll go over that later. But at some point, like, we have to care. We gotta care. We can't sit back and just think that the world that we know to be crazy, dangerous, and evil and wicked is just gonna have our kids' best interest in mind. That is, we can't. You can't just, like, we can't be that way today. We gotta stop what we're doing, stop being selfish and thinking just about us and what we want to do for ourselves, what we want to accomplish, and all the goals and objectives. We have to pay attention to our kids. We have to, right? The first step, just care a little bit more.
Social media is more than our minds. Christ dying on the cross. cross ain't something I pray for. A breakthrough is coming soon, and I know I can't fall. I had to lead them, oh God, and send them things I can't grow. Yeah, yeah. I'ma let y'all know who I vouch for. Christ is the greatest, yeah, that's the outro. Christ is the greatest, yeah, that's the outro.